First, an update on that horrific story that I told you about yesterday, the grisly murder of a Ukrainian refugee by an ex-con with a mile-long rap sheet in North Carolina. Police released chilling new photos from just seconds after the brutal stabbing took place. You see the victim, Irina Zarutska, curled up in her seat with this look on her face, just pure confusion and disbelief and fear. It almost looks like her brain hadn't even had time to catch up with what had just happened to her body, and the rest of the passengers looked scared and confused. Now, Charlotte's mayor, who was in hot water for seeming more sympathetic to the accused killer than the woman killed, promised increased security on the train line where the murder took place. The Post was there yesterday, and our team didn't see that increased law enforcement presence. We're also learning more about the alleged murderer, DeCarlos Brown Jr. He had been arrested as recently as January, and despite at least a dozen other arrests, was released on cashless bail. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt had this to say about the incident in her briefing.
When Brown was arrested yet again in January of this past year, a Democrat judge, who I will add was a strong supporter of former Vice President Kamala Harris, released this insane criminal once again without requiring him to pay any bail. He simply had to sign a written promise to return for his court hearing. Think about how crazy it is to ask a career criminal, someone who by definition repeatedly breaks the law, to just sign a written promise and come back again another day. This is madness.
Now to a new report spearheaded by HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., which aims to improve the health of American children. RFK is trying to tackle this at all angles, specifically by stopping, quote, illegal vapes, researching screen time addiction, and even overhauling baby formula. This new document notes that Chinese vape suppliers have flooded the market with products that haven't been approved by the FDA, and points out that excessive screen time leads to stress and reduced physical activity. The report also aims to address babies having access to quality nutrition by tightening requirements on formula and to increase the supply of donor breast milk for needy mothers. It also promises to focus on ways to increase fertility rates. Now, the purpose of all this, according to the department, is to help inform future executive orders focused on battling, quote, childhood chronic disease. Now, here's a movie title Hitchcock never envisioned. Butt Dial M for murder. 62-year-old Joni Thomas is being accused of helping her friend Dennis William Day dispose of the body of a flight attendant. Now, people joke about their best friend being willing to help them bury a body, but none of us actually think we're going to call in that favor. Well, cops say Dennis Day did call in that favor, and then his bestie accidentally called him back. Joni butt-dialed the alleged killer and left a voicemail, which cops say recorded the pair in the midst of a murder cover-up. Dave reportedly admitted to investigators that he had strangled a flight attendant who was last seen in March. Now, authorities say he then called his pal Thomas and asked her to come over and bring her pickup truck. During the investigation, detectives say they discovered what they believe to be a butt-dialed voicemail on Thomas's phone that captures the pair struggling to move a heavy object, and a male voice is heard on the call saying, quote, "Hey, help me, make sure the lid's on," and then say something to the effect of, "I got you all mixed up in this." Now, according to cops, this butthead Bonnie and Clyde hatched a plan to stage a false alibi by leaving their phones behind while they allegedly drove 70 miles to dump the body. Little did they realize the phones themselves were the smoking gun or smoking bum in this case.
For more on this story and everything else you could possibly want to know, check out the New York Post in print or online. And don't forget, like and subscribe to the New York Post cast wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube. You'll be glad you did.